Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
We're going to wing it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're going to. Well, we finished with Greg, and it was good that we got more than I thought we were going to get. I think initially it was going to be 30 minutes, and well, I'll just go with it and see when he tells us to shut up and he decides to go home, or he is home, but log off or whatever. But it was pretty good until the end. I mean, we were chatting afterwards, and my internet froze up and bounced me off, and I guess you finished up with him. We're gonna have to get a hold of him, because I was really serious about us doing some kind of bass player chat.
Absolutely, we're gonna do a bass player, favorite bass players or top bass players. We can decide which way we want to go with it, because for Evil, there is a difference between my favorite bass players and who I think were the best bass players of all time, so to speak. But
is it somebody from Zeppelin?
No. Well, he would probably be in my top 20, but I don't know if he'd be in my top 10. Right. It depends on how far we're going on the list here, but he's definitely up there as far as bass legends. But great to talk to Greg T. Walker from Blackfoot. He had a little moment in Leonard Skinner for a while there in the early days, and obviously now his band Two Wolf rocks, dude. I don't care who you are, if you don't like what they're doing, then you don't like guitar playing and you don't like rock music. I mean, it's pretty straightforward stuff, and I like it. So yeah, go check them out.
Right.
So you were on the CMS or listening to the CMS last night.
Nobody gets on the CMS anymore because they're not taking callers.
Well, if your name's Jimmy Florentine, you get to get on the CMS, right? So.
Right. It was interesting because they now they're gonna beat the Florentine thing to death, like they did with anybody that they become friendly with. It's interesting to see Neely, just sit there and what's the word? Gush over having it, and it's like, dude, you didn't do anything to get this guest here. You're not part of the relationship. It's all Aiken and his relationship with, who was it? Was it somehow it was that Slow Seth who got him in contact with that other comedian that he's buddies with, who then directed him to Florentine, and that's who the connection was to Cumia, which is never materialized. So now they have Florentine. One thing that is funny though is that if you listen to Trunk was, I think we needed to get the 988, get him on the 988 hotline, because he was probably losing his shit at the fact that he wasn't invited to this Osborne thing, and he was barred just because he was thrown off the Boneyard, which that's where his show was on Mondays, and they moved it to the Hair Nation channel. But it all had to do with him and popping off a little bit. Not much, though. I mean, I think anything that Trunk has said hasn't been anything that any fans haven't observed about Ozzy. Same with Kiss, and then the Kiss thing and the Kiss scenario. It's just like Paul's so frail and brittle that he gets a little bit of critical feedback, and he won't want to hear it because the guy's got issues. With Ozzy, I think it's just more or less Sharon isn't going to put up with any of that, and she's barred him, and he wasn't part of the back to the beginning. Like with any, Florentine wound up going, and then he winds up doing all those interviews. So I'm sure Trunk must have been losing his shit, which I totally find somewhat amusing, because here you got a guy that bought his way over, flew over, arranged some appearances that he was going to do, performances out in that area, and he had Jim Norton with him.
Norton.
Yeah, and so they wound up going to this show, and then they wind up doing the interviews. So that must have really not set well with Trunk. He was going to have Florentine. He announced it. He was going to have Florentine on his show on Monday, and he didn't. It was interesting because he got Sarzo, he got Ellefson, and he got Nuno Betancourt. And he had mentioned he was going to get Florentine, but he never. I thought he was just going to do Florentine. Florentine was going to be the first guy in line, right? Because he was there, but nope, no Florentine. And then I'll come to find out Aiken took that opportunity to get in touch with Florentine, and they did get him for Saturday, but it was on as he was driving, so his reception was cutting in and out, and the way he had his camera facing, he was facing whatever it was he was seeing in front of his windshield. You know what I mean? It was just it wasn't just not great. It had dropped out like 3 times. I think the 3rd time I just said, fuck this. I'm not listening to this shit. This horrible. His reception, he sounds like he's underwater, and Aiken and Shithead, had IT problems again, which I referred to as like, that's like having a mechanic that is always driving a car that breaks down. I mean, it's fucking crazy. So that was the beginning of it, the beginning of the show. And then they went off and railed on Ricky Rocket and Mike Tramp and 38 Special. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
what they're
let
thinking.
Evils chime in here for a second.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trunk, Mr. Aiken, Mr. Neely, but you don't have the connections that Evil does. I was drum teching for Bill Ward. Where were you guys? So I didn't need to interview people.
Right.
I was backstage tuning drums, shirtless, helping the man out, the man who's, the founding member of Black Sabbath with the other 3. So y'all didn't get to have the access, and I don't even need to go around flaunting that access. It was clear and prevalent that by the stellar performance by Mr. Ward on the drums, that even at an advanced age, he still sounded fantastic. And despite Mr. Aiken's, complaints, we'll see we'll see if Mr. Aiken can do a 45-minute set on the drums when he's 77 or 78 years old. That's what we'll find out one day. My guess was he won't make it that far.
Well, quick.
But back to it. Let's just say this. Eddie Trunk never said anything, in my opinion, that wasn't already been said by somebody else, right, or whatever. The mistake that Eddie Trunk made was he knew, by even broaching that subject on the air, as evidenced by people like Jakey Lee, who was ejected from the inner circle to never be seen again, and Bob Daisley, and guys who actually really had something to do with Ozzy's career, it was going to piss off Sharon and get back to her somehow, some way, that one of the top rock DJs in music and of Ozzy's genre is out there talking ill of him, whether that's on a podcast, whether that's on his show, whether that's on Sirius, wherever his venue to do it. So he shouldn't be surprised that he didn't get the invite. I mean, at this point in time, Jakey was very lucky to get himself back in Gray Shade, and that's only because of recent, I think, so. Well, why would a radio DJ? There was a lot of other guys who also didn't get the call. There's a lot of bands, a lot of people. Motley Crue was saying because of health reasons and whatever. But I'm saying there's other people that didn't get to make the thing that probably had a place there. And there's not that Eddie Trunk didn't have a place there, but just like with Paul Stanley, E.T., you got to know, bro, if you're going to, some of these people are sensitive, and some of them are known to be ultra sensitive. Ozzy himself probably doesn't give a rat's ass what you say. It's his old lady who cares what you say, and she has people working for her who are listening, who care what you say, and then run back and tell her what you said, or a version of, just like we were doing with Wendell and Don Dokken. We're playing telephone, so the message is not even going to be clear. But for those guys, again, so them to try to get Florentine and then have Florentine, let's be realistic. Florentine's also doing that because it's Saturday night. He's probably doing stand-up somewhere. And if he's not, what is he doing? He's probably out with a chick or going to get some dinner on the town or whatever. He got other shit to go do than be on the CMS. They're lucky that he called in. I mean, again, it's not them, it's the time frame, y'all.
Right.
Wendell does the show on a Saturday night when most people are wanting to go do something else. Most other people in the industry, musicians, people working, that's their night to have a gig. If they're not having a gig, they want to go do something with their family, their friends, their people.
Mm-hmm.
So, because again, a lot of guys in the music industry, you work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The weekends are the times to get the prime gigs to make the money, dude. That's when most people can attend shows. You can play a gig on a Monday or Tuesday, but it's never going to be what those are on the weekends. So, um, anyways, as far as that goes, it's just funny to me that they're still kind of chasing that around, and the breadcrumbs that Florentine might leave that could eventually lead to a trail to Kumia, I guess. I don't know what they're going for. But either way, maybe, it's their own deal. The point of it is that very little of that, unless they were, and if they were doing a full back to the beginning breakdown, that would have been more music related. I don't know how, I openly will tell everyone, Evil tuned out last night. I had many weeks in a row of listening, and it was the same old about what my brother watches on TV. And that's cool if my brother wants to yap about what he saw on Netflix or Amazon or YouTube or wherever, but I don't need to hear that. I want to hear about the music. Now, this particular show, of course, the one time that Evil didn't tune in and decided to go do his own family stuff is the time they actually did discuss some musical topics. And to bang on Mr. Ricky Rocket, I will be open in saying that Evil is no fan of Mr. Rocket's politics or his general attitude. It's especially online. To me, it's cringy, but that's just me. There's certain people I just watch and I just don't vibe with them, and he's one of those guys. The vintage motorcycle riding and the stuff I try to check out on YouTube, trying to give it an opportunity, I just couldn't get into. And I've seen him with Poison, and with Poison, I'm sure he's fine, but. And I would probably go see him in a live concert like this with Black and Blue. He's out doing a show we were just discussing in Ohio. Maybe that would be a package worth seeing. I'm just not going to hang out with the guy and talk politics afterwards or discuss where he's going in his personal life. So, but to bang on him, I mean,
yeah, that was weird. But they also
earning a check, right? I mean,
yeah, he's making money. Yeah. I mean, he's getting paid. I mean, they paid on Dawkins. I mean, Jesus,
they're going to pay Ricky Rocket a Poison again. There's going to be people booking him.
If you were put those two bands head to head, I mean, better performance. Well, Rocket Mafia, even though it is all covers and some of those are kind of not good. But they were railing on Mike Tramp again. They don't make the connection with Dawkins about why is he re-recording White Lion stuff, and it's like, well, Don re-recorded Dawkins classics, and and you guys were, or at least Neely didn't have any issue with that, but he has an issue with Mike Tramp recutting stuff that he recorded.
The hypocrisy is real, ladies and gentlemen. Again, don't ever fault anyone for having an opinion on any of the matters, but the bottom line is Dawkins not only re-recorded, but in Evil's opinion, badly re-recorded some of those songs.
Oh, fuck. They're horrible.
Yeah, they're
drunken.
Not good.
Yeah, drunken. It'll be interesting when Mike Tramp does these interviews for this new, what is it, Songs of White Lion, Volume 3. And see what happens when Aiken gets an interview and is up his ass, and there'll be no critical shit like you heard last night.
Yeah, and again, what Mike Tramp has to go earn, like any other musician in 2025, whatever he did in the past is not paying today's rent and today's bills, and so. Well, I mean, not that I agree with re-recording. I mean, I'm not going to listen to this or buy it or do any of that. But if that's what he's doing for someone out there that's buying that, and there's a market for that, even if it's a few hundred copies and he's making money and he's selling them at his shows, it's giving him reason to go do shows. Have at it, Mike Tramp.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and bag on him for it.
And I don't think anybody ever says, "Oh, the re-record is better than the original." I mean, I don't think that ever happens. There might be some.
I can think of a few instances where there's a version of a song that I liked because they used modern technology and made the song sound good, and maybe their old 1970s or early 80s version, I was so reverbed, and that time period it didn't sound quality. I can think of something like this sounds crazy, but I don't remember how many years ago it was, but the Scorpions re-recorded "Rhythm of Love" with modern production, and it still had the same oomph and the same kick as the old
That's
version,
right.
just real drums and bass. You could actually hear a
Mm-hmm.
full sound of the band, and I actually thought it sounded pretty good. I was like, hey, "This is cool." I actually prefer that version just because of the quality of the recording versus the
Right.
old version, which sounded a little bit dated. So, but that's very few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I can also name on that same album a bunch of songs they did that they re-recorded that didn't sound nearly as good as the
Oh,
original.
the
So
covers? Was it the
yeah,
covers?
so
Yeah, they did.
those are
Yeah.
even on that album. They did the zoo, and it didn't. The
Mm-hmm.
down tune with the
Yeah.
zoo doesn't
Ugh.
really sound right. It
Yeah,
was
that
kind of
wasn't as good.
sludgy, and yeah, and so there's just certain songs that it fits, and certain songs it doesn't. So I can't say it's never happened before, but it's most certainly like a much better chance that this is not going to be good. It's not going to be as good as the original, and it's usually makes me feel a little bit like it's just a cash
Right.
grab, and that's all. I'm not really now. If I was to go to the show, let's say I'm Joe Blow. I want to go see Mike Tramp
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow night at my local place, and he's got the CD there, and I can
Right.
pick it up and get it signed or
Right.
something or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
have a memento for the show. I've done things like that
Sure.
before. Sure,
Right.
I'm just not going to go out and digitally find this and
Right.
download it to my phone and say, let me replace the old stuff with this. That's just not what Evil does. But it doesn't mean no one can do it. Again, I don't that. But I guess what I don't understand is it's okay for Don Dokken to drag the name through the mud, sound like shit, put on a
Yeah.
fucking like just whisper in the vocals through the show, and that's all okay. But it's not okay for Mike Tramp to go out there, who probably sings way better, and go do his thing and make his money. I don't understand why one's okay and one's not. And I'm not even begging on Don for going out and again, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not saying don't go earn a buck. I'm just saying maybe put it in the acoustic format, Don, or maybe don't sing that song and that song and that song because those don't sound good at all, and replace those with these ones, or things like that. But that's just Evil making suggestions. I would never say, Don, you have to just stay home on a wheelchair and never be seen again. That's not, no one's saying
Right.
that. He could go out and do what he wants to do. I'm just saying, try to make it a little bit more respectable for you, for your legacy. That's the bottom line. If Mike Tramp feels that what he's doing is supporting the legacy and carrying it forward and not tarnishing it, go ahead, Mike Tramp. For Ricky Rocket, I already said before, if I was him holding my drumsticks, waiting for Brett Michaels, who's out there, who just played the California State Fair. I know, I just saw the photos and the stuff. If he's out there doing that, but I got to stay home waiting for this dude to show back up to sing again, fuck that. I'm going to make a band. I'm going to go play some shows. There are people that will pay me because I'm Ricky Rocket of Poison to go play music. I play 5 Poison songs and 5 cover songs, and here's a show. Let's go. I mean, why would you tell him he can't go? I don't even like the guy, but doesn't mean he can't go earn. Let him go earn. So.
Yeah, I don't know. No. I was just gonna say. No, I mean, it's like they want to dictate who can do what. I mean,
Yeah, and they just selectively choose where they want to bag on people and don't want to bag on people, and usually it's for personal reasons, and they openly express that. And that's
again,
okay, but
it'll be interesting. Like if Aiken gets the opportunity to interview Ricky Rocket for a Rocket Mafia something, he's going to be up his ass too. He's not going to say, "Hey, I
won't,
do these shitty covers," and same with Mike Tramp. I almost guarantee he will do something with Mike Tramp, and he's going to be up Mike Tramp's ass.
Yeah, and the reality, how long has the Rocket Mafia been out playing shows? I don't think they've been doing touring. It's just been the last, what?
There's been some...
probably a dozen dates or whatever.
Yeah,
or 20
it's
shows
been
or whatever.
sporadic. It might even be less than that.
Yeah, and they're still figuring that out, I would imagine. That set list is probably still evolving. They probably, like a lot of bands, you have an idea of, I'm going to do a cover of this, and you get in there and rehearsal, sounds pretty cool. You go play it live, and you just is like, and you're like, they don't react to it. Why are you playing that? And you're like, oh, we don't want to do that again. So there's always going to be those. And he's, Ricky Rocket is a professional musician. He's going to be, they didn't like, we can clearly tell by the crowd response, that and that and that, and we need to replace it with that and that. And so, come on, dude, he'll make those adjustments. They don't need Aiken or Neely to point that out. Where it would become an issue is if it was like constantly doing this, beating your head against, like Don. He sings every night horribly and then wonders why anyone doesn't like the way he's singing. It's like, dude, we're telling you, like, just sing different songs and different, go acoustic in some portion of the show, even if it was like half the show acoustic or something. Maybe that would help your voice a little bit and save your voice for the couple of songs electrically at the end that you can pull off. there's ways to work around it, but doing what you're currently doing is just like, wow, you just don't care. You just fuck it. I want the check. I'll put shit on a shingle and serve it to you and say it's caviar. Okay, cool. But some of us ain't eating caviar and most certainly can smell the shit on the single. We're calling you on it.
Right.
So no point in banging on him. As far as 38 Special, kind of surprising to me. I mean, maybe it's because Evil's a little bit more leans toward blues rock, southern rock, classic rock, anything with guitar solos and rock and roll. So, I mean, I'm not like 38 Special history buff. I would think I'm probably even less of a fan than Aiken. Sound like he was more of a fan than me, but to not know that Barnes is the dude that sang all the hits and is kind of like the front dude of the band. Don't get me wrong, there was a Van Zant in there, but if you always watched, he sang backup, did a little acoustic guitar, he sang a song here or there, but Barnes was carrying the show and singing bulk of the material.
It's like,
and wrote most of those hits. So why would he not be able to go? If Don Dokken can be Don Dokken and Dokken by himself, then why can't Barnes be 38 Special? He's the guy singing the songs. I don't get it.
And they were laying into that song, which I didn't think it was bad. I mean, that song, the new 38,
sounded like,
I mean, it's
what 38 Special should sound like in 2025, right?
Sure. But the guy can sing, unlike even Don when he does. Oh, I don't know what name a song off that new record. I don't even remember.
If you told me right now,
Prisoner or whatever,
you got to listen to Fugitive or listen to that 38 Special song. I think 38 Special sounded better.
Oh fuck, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no.
I'll go on record because Neely was trying to kind of like minimize 38 Special. Well, they only had like the 2 hits.
Yeah,
dude. In 2025, there are still classic rock stations playing those 38 Special hits 10 times more than any Dokken song at all.
Unless it's Hair Nation on Sirius.
Yeah, that's my point. It has to be an 80s specific show to get that. You're right here, though, in Medford, Oregon, my classic rock station. If you turn it on today, they will play 38 Special sometime in the next 24 hours.
Right. So. Yeah, and as Aiken was going over the hits, I mean, there's a good 6, 7, 8 songs. You know
there's a reason why they go around playing the county and the state fairs and the this and the that. It's because the dude gets booked because they can go out there and do an hour and a half of songs that the bulk of the show these people know, have heard before. Especially 40, 50-year-olds and up, they're tapping their feet. They've heard this on the radio for 20 or 30 years, 40 years now in some cases. So yeah,
right.
I don't know why they're like, well, Barnes, why is there anybody left? That's the guy. That's like saying, is there anyone in Dokken left on this stage when Don's standing in front of you?
Can you imagine having a discussion with those 2 idiots about Leonard Skinner? I mean, they'd be like, well, there's a Van Zant in there somewhere.
They would, and again, I'm not even like current Leonard Skinner for me. I've heard a couple songs here or there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
it's about the live show.
But it's not bad. Yeah. Exactly. And it's what they do on the stage for the tour because they're going to give you all this stuff. And say what you will, but whatever Van Zant is running that show has always kept a good band on stage. The band never sucks. The band always plays the songs pretty damn close to how Skinner would want them played, and so that's why people are still showing up. And you can't go, well, why is there Leonard Skinner when Johnny Van Zant standing there?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, now there's no Gary Rossington.
I feel that a little bit, but again, was it really Rossington's band? I think anyone in that band would tell you that band was Ronnie Van Zant's band. And if it was not going to be Ronnie Van Zant's band, he probably would have handed the microphone to either Donnie or Johnny, his younger brothers, and said, one of you take the reins here. So I don't see any, again, it's almost like Birthright. I don't really, it's like me with the Wrap Up Show. Do you think Neely can tell me I can't have the Wrap Up Show?
Well, he can, remember?
Really?
Oh, well, wait, we got to talk about that comment. But just to wrap up this whole thing about the Skinner thing, you know who replaced, who stepped in for Rossington in that band, right?
No, who's currently in there?
Damon Johnson.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that I have not seen them with Damon Johnson. I'd go see him once just to see what that's like. It'd be really weird to not have Rossington there. Again, more because he's just been a presence or was a presence in that band for so many years. Medlock is still there. I mean, and like you said, the van,
I
one
think
of the Van
Johnny, Ricky Medlock, Michael, if he's still on the
Yeah,
drums,
he
right?
is.
Yeah. So, that there are some guys there who have
Sure.
name quality to me that are musicians that can do the job, and I would go see the show if someone gave me the
Sure.
opportunity. There was a couple years back when they were doing that ZZ Top,
Oh yeah.
Leonard Skinner package. It just didn't come close enough to me, or I was out doing something else the day it
Yeah.
was, and so otherwise I probably would have gone to it. I would.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't hate on any of these guys.
Sure.
It's like I saw ZZ Top after Dusty died, and Elwood was in the band, and let me tell you something. It sound like ZZ Top. So I don't know. I don't understand what the
Yeah.
if it was going up there and not sounding good,
Yeah.
like a band we just mentioned,
Right.
not sounding good, then I would say that. But if they go up there and sound good and do it justice, when I saw him, Frank was still on the drums. I don't know if he's still going to be able to keep doing that. He is.
I think
up there,
he's
but he
back.
played,
Yeah. he's
oh,
back.
that's my point. He's in pretty good shape considering his age, and he played an hour right in front of my eyes with Billy and them like it was no problem, and they did it like ZZ Top does. It was a packed house. It was sold out. There you go.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Where was it? Oh, the comment. I don't know if you wanted to mention the comment. That was kind of an interesting one, and how we think. It came up last night where Neely said, This is why I don't have a social media presence," which we know is bullshit.
well, we'll have to. Let's just say that Evil's conducting an internal.
You're still looking into it.
An investigation here regarding some comments that were made on some of our videos that have suspicious wording, phrasing that sounds very much like my brother's vernacular. And for him to say he's not on social media, but then for me to get these kind of comments on some of our videos, it was a little bit. So we'll do some investigating on what that screen name means, what that is all about. But again, radio shtick, man. I gotta have a little radio shtick. Well, I'm having a couple of cocktails and chit chatting with my friends, and and that's another thing. He, by the way, he takes when Florentine is on his show, because he created the CMS, right? So that's where it strokes his ego, right? And so, and I think now more than ever, it's almost like a Boy Scout badge on his lapel that says, "I don't have social media. I don't do." And this is not uncommon, ladies and gentlemen, with boomers. There's quite a few of them out there. No, there is. It's true. I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
There's some people 50, 55 and up who's really popular right now to say, I don't have Facebook, I'm not on Twitter, and I'm not, and that's just their whole, I'm just not going to participate. Okay, dude, gotcha. That's cool. But as you can see, in my opinion, this is my opinion, the show's popularity dwindled, and it has dwindled because of a lack of social media presence. And the only one you get is from Macon. And usually what you get from him is an advertisement asking you to buy this, do that. Here it is, buy.
Jesus.
So,
and isn't he fucking ghoulish? I mean, you don't need to see that reading commercials or ads in HD. My God. He's all pale, and
a lot of different ways that we could go about making those reads. If you're going to give them to me, which I don't agree with, but if you're going to give them to me, there's ways to make them better. And one of them is to put up the fucking logo of the coffee company with the information, the website, the phone number, and then talk in the background, bro. I don't need to see you doing more of this. We already get 6 hours of that or whatever it is for the show.
It's like, it's almost like they're in competition for camera time or something.
And I think that the IT business is light right now. And I think
for sure.
The pinball business is going to the kids. And so he's like, hey, I got to make ends meet, Neely, and I'm not out selling containers 5 days a week. So let me do something. And if not even if that's what he's got to do, dude, it's just what bothers me is to have the double ads. It's his ads and the Rumble ads, or his ads and these ads, or when they do the recut, I get a shortened segment that's chock full of his ads and the other ads. So you gave me a 15-minute clip, but now it's got all these ads in it. So it's like, well, I don't even want to listen to that, dude. It's like impossible to listen to. So I don't know. And this is honest because it's just really transpired over the last few weeks when we started doing those live reads. I don't know if he listens back to the clips that he's posting all the way through, because if he did, with the commercials he puts in and the commercials they put in, if he listened to it, he would find it almost unlistenable.
Yeah.
How can you listen for a minute and a half and then go to a commercial? Go to a minute and a half, 2 minutes, go to a commercial. I'm only got 15 minutes of talking. I got 5, 6, 8 commercials going on. What's happening, dude? So I don't. I don't know how that's working out, but again, it's annoying, man. Just cut that shit out. You want to let Rumble put them in, or what, or YouTube put them in because they put them in for the non-subscribers. They do that on their own. Like our show, I can't control that. I just upload the clip, but I'm not adding more to it. We're not ourselves putting more shit in front of your face. So again, maybe one day we'll have a sponsor or something at beginning or end if it made sense and it was cool and something that you guys might like and we like talking about. But if it's not, I'm not gonna go. I know nothing about coffee. I don't even fucking drink coffee. So why would I ever go get blackout coffee? Because it's the best.
Yeah.
That would be so horseshit. I would never do that to you guys. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you the last time I drank coffee. It might have been like when I was 20. I'm 47. I don't drink coffee. So there you go. I would not be able to tell you it could be fucking Folgers or it could be some gourmet shit. I'll tell you what I know of coffee. There's Dutch Brothers everywhere in Oregon. That's about what I know of coffee.
Oh,
So.
yeah, I don't. It is funny though that all these ads all of a sudden, and like you said, it's like just put the logo up, read it, but he has to like look into the camera, and he's just like not very healthy looking. He's all pale. He looks like he's on his deathbed, greasy fucking hair. It's just like fuck.
Yeah, well, he's always had a little bit of a disheveled appearance here. So it's always, like I said, always looks like it was a struggle to even get in and out of the
Yeah.
shower. Maybe into those sweatpants that he's wearing, and that's about all you're gonna get.
You know what?
And he
You
doesn't
know what-
sleep well. He openly
No.
says that, so that
Oh, yeah.
has to be contributing to why he's as pale and the bag. And I'll be honest with you, Evil works night shift sometimes too, ladies and gentlemen, which is why. But I also can't
Yeah.
see without glasses,
Sure.
which is why you're getting the glasses, because otherwise I'd be struggling to see anything. on
I'm
the screen.
I'm almost thinking he's a chubby vampire. I mean, maybe he's the Grampula.
He's Grampula Senior. Yeah, he's like the old Grampula. We got young
My
baby
God.
Grampula.
I mean,
Little
Jesus,
Grampula,
he
big
he
Grampula.
does look like he took a fucking vampire bat bite, doesn't he? I mean, he's just like all pale and shit.
Well, and that's my point. Is like, dude, like, okay, so you don't really. I mean, you're doing the reads for the dough or whatever the payment is, and that's cool because that's what you got to do. Okay, like I said, just make it as tolerable as possible, as quick to the point as possible. Flash the logo, read the 30-second thing, get out, leave it as that. Don't make me sit here and look at you struggling to figure out. Well, and this is the best, and I tried, and fuck, dude, it's torturous to me. So.
I did catch on the Rumble chat somebody was saying something about. Let me see if I can read the comment. I'll find it and see if I can find it. It's
And I
something
will
about
also
they used
answer.
they
Go
don't
ahead.
take callers anymore, and what happened to the callers? And it's like, well, you know what happened to the fucking callers. The reason the callers went away was because they don't want to take the risk of having either one of us or Andrew or just somebody calling and putting Neely on the spot where he can't have the time to kind of formulate his response, right?
I'm guessing that has to be it. I mean, there's no other explanation that Evil can think of that would make sense. But for them to have that fear is kind of completely 100% bullshit, like everything else that's going on here, unrealistic. Because Evil called in one time. Well, I was challenged to call in one time and they didn't answer. And then I was challenged to call in the second time and he actually picked up. And that was the time I was on the show. So in my whole life, I would say there was 2 shows where I tried to call in. Other than that, I've never tried to call in. I've never even hardly participate. And only recently did I try to participate in the Rumble chat prior to the launch of this show, only to receive backlash, and then later when we launched the show to be banned. So, my participation with them is pretty much nil. They don't communicate with me. They don't want to, and they've clearly shown that I'm just persona non grata, which is totally cool. And so I don't understand that. If that's what it is, again, I'll go back to it, y'all. I know, brother Neely, you're watching some of these clips. I'm not calling you, bro. I'm not calling you. So take the call from Tim James.
Yeah.
Talk to whoever else hits that line. Your Aussie brother or somebody. But we ain't calling. Andrew's not even in the building anymore and doesn't care.
Right.
And Evil's got his own show and thing going on.
Yeah.
And unless you want to come on and talk Doc and album versus album, which is the only thing I've ever really thought about doing. I got no reason
Right.
to even bother your show, dude. I'm listening. I'll make my commentary on the wrap up show because that's what I have the wrap up show for. You challenged us to get a microphone to do our own show. Evil did it. Here I am, and I'm going to stay in here. And oh, by the way, for those of you who are commenting on our videos, it is usually me, depending on the channel, that's answering some of those, unless it's on some social media.
Right.
Or you'll see Robin pop in there as well.
Yeah.
For those of you wanting to know who I am, my personal life, I've had weird messages as well. Someone asking me what is my real name. You're not going to get my real name. It's Evil
What's your
Knievel.
real
That's all
name?
you need to know.
Raise your horns high, let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.